Welcome back to the CAMO Convoy Podcast, where we talk all things overland, off-road, and the great outdoors. Tonight, we're joined by a very special guest. Some say, as a young child, his nursery sound machine played the whimpers of defeated Jeep owners, and that he himself believes transfer cases are Appalachian mythology. All we know, he's Brandt, the man behind the baddest and maddest Subaru I have ever seen. Welcome to the show.
What's going on?
Oh, dude, we've wanted you on here, I think, since like week 2, actually.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you were an early name that came up.
Whatever.
So I want to get the elephant out of the room here, because I really truly mean it is the maddest Subaru that I've ever been around. So what is it that you drive for folks that haven't seen it?
I got a 2008 SG Forester. It's last year before they got kind of bigger. So it's just got the 172 horsepower, 167 foot-pound torque, 4 EAT, just slush box, just 4 speeds, rear locker, center diff locker, long travel suspension, all the goodies.
Yeah, and we'll get into the specifics of that later, because I think there'll be a lot of people that are curious. But it is a sweet rig. So
Thank you, man.
how'd you become the Subaru guy? Were you always a fan? Was it a rally thing, or just fell into it?
I mean, I've always kind of been into Subarus. Honestly, my brother got into it early on. He had an interest in like from a rally perspective and just cars in general, and he started out just really fanboying on Subarus. He got his car. Well, I guess I got my car first. It was a 2002 Outback, one of the H6s, and then he got his 2002 RS not long after. And I just fell in love with the way it drove so much that after that one rusted out, I got '07 Forester, same one I got right now, but it's just silver. That one got wrecked, and I got this one. And I've just been in love with the cars ever since. I just love the way they drive. I guess back in undergrad, I took that old Outback up on a few, I wouldn't call them trails, like places you can drive a car off a road, but nothing that you would need all-terrains for. Just like, oh man, this can actually do things. What could it do with a little bit more? But like, that was too much money. I was a broke student at the time. I was like, I'll never do that. And then COVID came around, and that first check I didn't need came in. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, they just made a rear locker for this thing, so now's the time, I guess.
That's awesome. So was that really your intro that into off-road right around that time?
Yeah, that's where everything started. I started just, like everyone else does, just researching stuff on YouTube while sitting on the toilet. And I came across this YouTube channel, Power Up Your Brains, and they were doing kind of the same thing, but they were doing stuff before the lockers came out. And they kept saying, this thing needs a locker, this thing needs a locker. And then Torque Masters came out with the locker. And I waited like 6 months to see how folks liked it. And everyone's like, this thing is awesome. It does exactly what you need it to do. I'm in. Boom, let's do it. I got a lift kit, a locker, and skid plates, tires, like all at once. And just started going to town with it.
Oh, man.
And
nice.
Pretty much every time I went on the trail, I'm like, man, they can do so much more if I only had this. If I only had this, they can do so much more. And I had my buddy Jay May, who got me into off-roading. He was like the first guy who was like, yeah, you can totally do that. I'd be like, I was thinking lifting my Subaru. I was like, yes, you totally should. He was the one who enabled me. This was all his fault.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Yeah, he started me down the road. You need one person to encourage you to do a bad idea, right?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of sounds like you folded under zero pressure.
Zero, absolutely zero pressure. I mean, the smiles I get just every time I go out on the trail, it just, I don't know. I giggle every time I drive that thing around, just what it can do, what I can make it do. It's just fun. It makes everything fun. Like even the easier obstacles, everything's more fun because it's just a little bit more challenging to do stuff. So like I don't have to find the craziest trails to have a good time. Just like hell, even the Tour de Camo stuff. Like, well, there was some stuff on that, but like the winter trip that we do, there's no obstacles. It's still fun to drive around in the snow though. Everything's more fun.
Right. Yeah. And it is genuinely a treat to watch. There's just something about it because it's like, especially from afar, like it's a very compact machine. So like it doesn't look, I mean, it looks kind of like a go-kart. But I don't want to sugarcoat it because it can kind of break some hearts. Because you take it to some pretty legit places. So you're from North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, I'm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah. So Uwharrie is like right around the corner from me. It's only an hour away. Yeah, and those trails, I mean, awesome. There's a badge of honor trail out there, Dickey Bell. I think it's a 9 on Onyx. Been down that trail a few times. That's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, it's, I'd be lying if I said part of the fun wasn't seeing the faces of some folks being like, what in the hell is that thing doing out here?
Hell yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. Do you feel like people look at it and they're like, what's this guy doing? I'll be getting the call to get him out.
Oh, yeah, sure. And I get that too, because, especially with most of the newer Subarus out there, like the CVTs, they can do quite a bit, but the CVTs have their limitations, mostly from heat, and the center diffs that are in those things aren't quite like what I have in my car, so they have their limitations, and then approach and departure angle is a problem. So, like, folks who get these newer Subarus, they can kind of get into things that they can't really do as well. So I understand that stigma.
Y-
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just fun to prove them wrong constantly.
I love it. I love it because I feel like the people that get kind of irritated with it are the ones that I really enjoy irritating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I'm not out here to
Yes.
prove anything, but if you're gonna get mad, I'll make you mad. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And so Brandt has been out with Camo before, actually many times now. And one of my favorite things of the many things that I like about Camo is we have a very wide variety of vehicles. And I really like obscure things. So like my dad's H3, for instance, right? Like I feel like in traffic, if you see an H3, it's like, but as soon as it's on the trail and it's got like a little bit done to it, it's like, oh man, that is so cool. We bring stuff out like that, and it is just, I don't know. It's so much more fun to me than just a bunch of Frontiers and Tacomas and Forerunners together on the trail.
yeah, I love seeing the diversity out there. And like, that was one of the things, like, Alex was the one who got me into Camo for the Don't Give Up the Shit trip. That was my very first trip with you guys. That was the first time I met you out there. And, he drove.
I'm wearing the shirt.
That's right, yeah, that's the Vegas trip. When he got his U-Boat Commander achievement. Yeah, like he was like, oh man, it'll be fine. You'll do great on that trip. You got to come out here. And here I am going 6.5 hours up to the Hocking Hills on my very first trip with you guys.
Oh my goodness. So that trip, I don't know if we've ever actually really talked about what happened with that trip. So I typically plan the majority of the events, but I needed somebody to plan one. I was just busy and I wanted to, include everyone. And one of our members was really excited about planning a trip, and he planned a trip, and he called it D-Guts, Don't Give Up the Ship. The little history lesson that I won't bore you with, but it's pretty cool. He's got a lot of naval family history. So anyway, we go out there and we're like 20 minutes into the day, and he does this. And if anyone doesn't have a video, this is a Nissan Pathfinder buried up to the headlights in mud and water. And he just swamped the thing. I mean, he filled the trans full of nematodes. And the beginning of that day was rough. But you did the night drive on that trip, right? When we went out at
Yeah,
night?
I did. I think that was up Dry Branch Road. No, we didn't do Dry Branch at night. We did that during the day. Yeah, I did the night
Yeah,
shift
we did
on that one.
Macedonia Church Road, which I'll be honest, that was one of my favorite wheeling experiences ever. I had so much fun that night.
That was a lot of fun, that road. I love the way it was carved into the rock. It was like you're driving in a creek bed and all of a sudden you see a mailbox. It's like, oh, this is actually a road.
Yeah. Yeah. So you brought something up. So I talk you up frequently as my rock guy. I like rocks. But you have a lot of geology knowledge, it seems like. So what is your background with that? I don't know if I ever formally asked.
No, I mean, I'm a North Carolina licensed geologist. I have my PG. I do environmental work basically for a landfill company. I do all of our environmental compliance stuff like groundwater, landfill gas, any kind of excavation we have. I do geologic notes on that for state regulatory agency, all that. So I'm a huge rock nerd. You may have called me out in the last episode for knowing something about trees. I don't know jack about trees unless they've been dead for like 2 million years.
I think that we, as a group, And really, as an organization at this point, if there's something about nature that nobody knows and you're not there, it's basically just defaulted to, we'll take a picture of that and just send it to Brandt, and then he'll fill us in.
I'll
But
figure it out.
you've definitely earned you have earned that accolade within Camo for sure. It's just the guy who's gonna know it.
The Rock dude.
The rock guy, yeah. So the specifics of the car, because it is cool. So it is a long travel setup, which long travel on a unibody car looks wicked. It's almost like, I mean, it looks like a side-by-side almost. So what are the control arms? Did you have those built, or did you build them, or what's
No,
that
the
setup?
control arms. I try to keep this car I try to use as many stock components as possible because it's just so much easier and cheaper to fix this thing out of salvage yards. Like one of the big perks of this generation of Forester is that it shares a lot of parts with the same years of Outbacks, Imprezas, and Legacies. So I can go to most salvage yards and find an axle anywhere, alternator anywhere, like power steering pump,
Yeah.
control arms, a lot of things like that. So the rear control arms are all stock. Trailing arms are stock.
Really?
The front control arms are from a stock vehicle, but they're from a 2005 WRX. So there's the aluminum alloy ones.
Okay.
They give you a little bit extra caster, like they move the front wheels forward by about 3/8 of an inch to clear the larger tires because they didn't want to hammer any
Yeah.
kind of pinch welds down. A lot of folks hammer the pinch welds in various places in these cars, but that also prevents water and moisture from draining out like it's supposed to. So I'm trying to prevent rust. Like I grew up
Yeah,
in New
right.
York. I'm really trying to avoid the rust buckets those things became up there.
You know about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the only aftermarket
Yeah.
parts really are the coilovers. Like everything else, I mean, and the snorkel is obviously not stock, but everything else is either off of a different model year Subaru or it's just stock, just so I can keep it easy to replace. The radiator is different,
Wow.
but stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Wow,
really
I did
cool.
not realize that. I mean, when you're looking at this thing, especially as it's going over obstacles, I would not have guessed that. I'd have bet the farm on something custom for control arm. That is cool. Huh.
Yeah, they're great.
That is really neat. So, what tire size are you running? Are they 20, like 28, 29?
It's 28.3, 225, 75, 15. And for my
Yeah.
non-turbo
That's probably about max.
Forester, I can fit 29s on there, but then I'm not really climbing hills much anymore. Like these are big enough. I feel the car
Yeah.
lugging down. Like I've got a set of snow tires that are 215, 70, 16. So those are like 27.7. I can feel the difference in power I get back putting those things on. This is about as big as I'd want to go
Yeah.
just to get a little extra ground clearance, but still be able to climb hills and obstacles and stuff like that. But the wheels, so those are one thing that's not stock. Those are 2003 Audi wheels that I imported from Europe. Because those things
Oh, no way.
yeah, Audi A3 wheels. I mean, for all 5 of them, well, I have 6 now, but for 5 of them shipped to my door is $700. But they're 15-inch
Wow.
and they're only 12.7 pounds per wheel. They are very lightweight, but they're forged aluminum, so they take a
Wow.
beating. Yeah. So like
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, so each wheel and tire combo is only 41.7 pounds, I think I weighed it. That's like only a pound and a half more than stock. So I keep a lot of my momentum. I keep a lot of my
Yeah.
acceleration. Didn't really lose a lot of power to the weight of the wheels. So I try to keep the car driving as close to stock as possible because, like you said, I don't have any transfer case. I don't have a lot of power to work with. It's got 444 differentials. That's like where a lot of the power comes from. And then just with the torque converter, just left foot braking and keeping that thing spun up as much as I can. That's where all the
Yeah.
power comes from.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron. Were you gonna say something?
No, I think it's really smart that you didn't put the weight in the wheels. Like most of the time, rotating mass, what is it, 4 times the weight penalty as opposed to
I
just
heard something like
weight
that.
sitting
Yeah.
around?
Yeah. Unstrung
Yeah,
weight.
like keeping weight out of the rotational stuff is big deal.
Mm.
Have you ever looked at or considered like STI transmission?
I mean, if I had a manual, maybe. It has a good first gear, but since it's an automatic, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. I mean, the only thing.
Well, that's what I meant. Switch
Oh, like manual
like a
swapping
manual
it?
swap from the STI. Yeah.
No, only because of how much I can do with the torque converter and left foot braking. Like just being able to crawl up an obstacle by
Yeah.
keeping my foot on the brake and not having to feather a clutch and stuff like that. Like, I get made fun of all the time for having an automatic transmission, but I could not do the stuff that I do with a manual transfer. Even if I got, Australia and New Zealand got the dual range manuals, but they don't have, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but the best reduction was, I think it's a 1.447 to 1. So it's not a whole lot. I mean, it's some, but it's not a whole
That's a
lot.
lot
And
of
that's the
clutch
best.
riding.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. And that's just the part you got to replace. Whereas like a torque converter, it'll just take it. It's designed for that. And it's less stuff that can
Yeah.
break. You're not shock loading axles as much because that's like one of the weakest parts in the car, the axles. I'm just glad they're so easy to replace and I can do it in like a half hour on each one. But I'd much rather not break a transmission. I'd much rather break axles on the trip because they're pretty cheap too, like $40 at a salvage yard for an axle.
Yeah. So my very first big car project ever that I was ever involved in, it wasn't mine, but we STI swapped a Forester XT, trans
Nice.
included. Uh, it was like the Nausiac forum days. So we were literally in like my
Nabisco.
buddy's parents' driveway with like printed out papers of like people's random forum posts. Like,
Oh my God, dude. The
I
good old
mean,
days.
it was so fun. I mean,
remember that.
truly, we talk about it with our friend. It was Nick Palco, and
Oh,
we
okay.
still talk about it to this day, like 20 years later. I mean, it was just, yeah, man, that was a really, really cool time. But I'll tell you, it's a royal pain in the ass. But yeah, I kind of side with you. I enjoy wheeling automatics. There's definitely been times where I'm like, oh, I bet you a manual would have been really nice here. But I like wheeling an auto. I don't know, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I think with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I
shock
mean, especially
because
doing these 24-hour rallies, I would not want to do that with a manual. No way.
Oh, be sore.
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't mind it. Like, I I beat manual transmissions so much. Like autos, just I don't want them. But like in your platform, I think it's one of the smartest things because there's no low range. Being able
Yeah.
to lay on the torque converter and like just make heat.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
the way to
true.
do it.
I wasn't thinking of that when I had said that, but yeah, I bet you no low range lugging that first gear with the clutch would be a pretty quick way to eat that clutch up in like
Oh yeah.
a trip.
Yeah. Yeah. One long camo trip. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Michigan
you'd
sand.
yeah, oh yeah, or the rocks.
Yes.
So you had mentioned the 24 hours. You have I think that's probably where you've hurt the most feelings.
Probably.
You've been pretty successful.
I've got 3 podiums at 24-hour rallies so far. I mean, granted, they're all the easier ones, if I'm being honest. Like 2 of the Mothman and the first Hinton rally, I got second also.
Yeah. But you know what? Like that's what your rig's built for. Like truthfully, I mean, now I guess the Frontier airs a little bit more on the side of like the Kentucky world and the scramble world, but that's really not what my intention was for that truck. I built it for the Mothmans, the Hintons, and same deal. I'm not out there winning Baja.
Yeah.
One day I'll build something cool like that, maybe. But yeah, you've done very, very well. Are you doing the next one?
I plan to, yeah. I plan to do that with my brother
man.
again.
Chemical Valley?
No, hell no. No,
Dude.
that's one that Jen will not let me
I
into.
was like, whoa.
That's
No,
what
I
I
didn't even
front
think
locker.
about that. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know how they say, like,
Um,
the minimum tire size is 31 for all the other ones, and he was just letting me in because he knew I can drive, he told me. But Chemical Valley is
yeah.
a hard 35 and lockers, so I have no interest in doing something like that anyway. I mean, I enjoyed the Ohio rally. Those Southern Ohio Forest Rally roads were so much fun. Just whipping it around those gravel roads. And my co-driver,
Yeah.
Dan, like, has competed at the SOFA rally, so he's like, oh, I know this road. So he was giving me, like, turn-by-turn pace notes
Oh,
on
wow.
those roads. He's like, slow down,
Oh,
this one's,
nice.
I've slid off here before, like, go slow on this one will bite you, dig in on this road. That was a lot of fun. And I mean, we were ready to do the rest of the roads, but like 2 hours shy of the finish, I was starting to nod off. He was getting car sick. Like it just wasn't safe. And
Yeah.
then it was just so muddy and sloppy out there. And then we were getting up to Dry Branch, which had already been blown through a bunch of times, rutted out off camber. I mean, we probably could have made it with a bunch of winching, but we'd have been that guy winching up the hill the whole time. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only limitation, really, are steep enough hills and steep enough rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, other than big rocks, what do you figure, like, what's the biggest weakness of the build?
It's really just hills. I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know what the max incline I've done is. I've gone up the hill at Dutch John at Uwari, and that's like, it's got to be over 30 degrees in a handful of places.
That's a steep
But
hill.
my foot was on the floor, and that was as far as it was going to go. It was just barely keeping momentum to get up there. Like, you really got to, if I had stopped, I wouldn't be able to get going again.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remedy
Sounds
that.
like being
Like,
on the interstate.
yeah. So I'm hoping to get a little bit of more power out of the car before too long here, because my exhaust is all pretty much totally stock, except for like the mid pipe back has been rerouted and tucked up. My cat is original. It's got like 200,000 miles on the cat now, so I'm thinking that's kind of clogged up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got a high flow header coming, so it's 1.75 inch primary is going down to 2.25 inch. So I'm gaining like 3/8 of an inch of diameter on the entire exhaust going back with a high flow cat.
Yeah.
Might get a few more horsepower out of that and a few more miles a gallon for the rallies. So give me a little bit more power in the high end, and we'll see what happens. Just get a little bit more momentum for those hills. That's really the
Yeah.
biggest
Less
weakness,
heat,
though.
too.
Like, yeah, less heat for sure. Yeah, hills are really the only weakness of the car. Like mud, especially, dude, with that HDPE skin on the skid plate. I don't want to say I love mud holes, but ruts do not scare me at all anymore. Like if I belly out, I'm just gonna slide across them, no problem. As long as I keep momentum, like I don't get stuck on hangups or anything like that with that HDPE skin.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit about what that looks like and kind of what that skid plate design is for someone that doesn't know what you're talking about? Because I love this setup on this car.
So the skid plate, it's a full custom. My buddy Dan at Blackbeard Outfitters made it for me. It's 1/4 inch 6061 aluminum that is braced up against the bottom of the car. It goes up to the front tube bumper as a full ramp just under the headlights and runs all the way back to the backside of the transmission. So it does hang lower. Like I only have about 10 inches of ground clearance when I'm aired down on that. But it's covered in a 1/8 inch piece of HDPE, which my buddy Nick McAlpin, he's a Husqvarna mechanical engineer, and he has built basically rock bouncers. And he told me, yeah, those guys just use like 1 inch thick HDPE with 2 inch tube steel frames behind them, or like UHMW HDPE or straight up Delrin, because it just has such a low friction coefficient. And it flexes a little bit. You can
Yeah.
hit rocks. It's not like steel where you feel it in your spine. It gives some, and aluminum does the same thing. So you can hit things harder and just kind of deflect off of them as opposed to snagging or dragging or any of that. So, and with how little like ground clearance I have in the front, ruts, a lot of folks they don't want to straddle those ruts. They want to get off on one side or the other. And that's how a lot of people either get crossed up or they get off camber or they flip or flap. I just go straight for the ruts, just stay straight in the middle of them. I let them carry me through and just keep on the gas, keep on the brakes, keep my momentum up, and just drag across that skid plate. And it doesn't drag at all. I can
Yeah.
hardly even hear it.
That's cool. Well, the CAMO Convoy podcast is not responsible for all of the wives' cutting boards that are going to be stolen after the show.
Dude, I could not believe how cheap it was. Like it's a one piece. I got a 5x8 piece of this HDPE for $62 from, I think it was Polymer Shapes.
Wow.
Has a distribution center here in Charlotte. I just walked in there and I was like, "Hey, do you guys sell to the public?" They're like, "Yeah, what do you need?" Plywood size sheet of HDPE. Like, what in the hell for? Skid plate for my car? That's awesome. We've never heard of that before. Can you bring it back when you're
Dude,
done?
that
And
is
they came
cool.
back and they loved it because there's like a TJ guy who was working in sales there, and he loved it. He loved the idea.
That's awesome. That is really cool. And it's really similar, I think, to what a lot of side-by-sides are doing now out of the factory.
Yeah. Side by sides. Apparently, it's been a thing for a while. ATVs, like most of their skid plates, are just little, basically cutting boards, like you said. Same idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that is sweet. I would like to do that for some of the less damage-prone areas on the truck. Like, I feel like a fuel tank, for instance. Like I don't need 3/16 steel on my plastic fuel tank, but like some aluminum framing with HDPE, I think would be pretty slick.
Yeah,
Literally.
and 1/8 inch is great too, because
Yeah.
like since working in the landfill gas side of landfills, I got exposure to landfill gas piping systems, and they do all of their ducting and piping in HDPE, but they do fusing, and I learned a lot about HDPE fusing. And as it turns out, if you have stuff that's thin enough, it basically melts, and you can just like patch it together. If I have a hole in my HDPE, I did this right before the Ohio rally. You just take a torch to it and melt the one little spot that has a hole and take a little patch and melt that on and just slam it on there and hold it for a few minutes with a heat glove, obviously. And you can just repair it
Yeah,
super easy.
That's nice.
Yeah. Just sand it
that
down
is
so there's
really
no
cool.
rough edges.
I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is sweet. Does it?
How did you attach it?
I just use bolts.
Like rib
Like,
nuts, counters?
No, I mean, it bolts straight through the aluminum. So I just use M6 countersunk and just countersunk them in, and then just use nuts on the backside.
Nice.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there's like,
Did you
I don't
leave the
know.
bolt head like flush, or did you
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it
they're countersunk in, so they're
recessed with it?
perfectly flush.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And that's the thing with
sweet.
using
I
1/8
really like
inch
that
at
setup.
least. If you do any thinner than 1/8 inch, you can't
Yeah.
countersink them enough to get it flush. And any thicker than that, I mean, I might go thicker at some point, but you start getting a little heavier at that point. And weight means a big thing with this
Yeah.
car because, no transfer case.
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, hopefully this is never an issue, but how does it melt first, or does it combust pretty easily?
It'll melt first.
That's the only thing I would.
Um,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. I've never actually had
Yeah,
it
I'm
catch
trying to.
fire, even when I'm like torching it to melt it. It will if it gets thin enough. It'll definitely burn, hold a flame like that. But with the
Yeah.
aluminum being between it and the exhaust, it's fine. I've never even had it warp in the summer
Yeah,
yet.
that's so. You said that. That's what I was thinking. Like on my truck, the cat, it was in a position where I thought about where it would make sense to go. I was just wondering if I'd make a big flame. But no, that's cool, man. I like that a lot. I think that's a really viable option for a lot of folks, and I'm really surprised that no one in the industry has really done anything with it.
Yeah, when I first did it, I started telling folks about it. Some people said that there was this guy a ways back who did the same kind of thing for some Jeeps, some Wranglers, where he would make like just like what I have, 1/4 inch aluminum with a 1/4 inch HDPE skin on it, but no one went for it, so he stopped making them. I don't know if there's just a different mindset with how people wield Jeeps, but like I aim for rocks with certain places. Like that's how I built the car, was with the 1/4 inch steel rock sliders on there, and I now have 10 centimeter or 10 millimeter HDPE pipe covering my trailing arm, so I can aim for rocks on those sides too, just to like keep momentum and bounce off. I'm not trying to avoid rocks for the most part. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
bash up my exhaust in the center line, but being able to know what parts of the car I can hit and hitting them as hard as I need to. I don't really see that many folks doing that. And I get it,
Yeah.
but that's just the way I built my car.
Yeah. So you built the trailing arm skids as well out of HDPE as well.
Yeah, just some 4-inch HDPE
That's
pipe that I
cool.
cut up. And yeah, they cover the trailing arm, which is the lowest hanging part right before the rear wheels. Like I'm trying to think of going over shelves. Like I saw what you did at Potts Mountain. And I want to be able to get hung up in a situation like that and not snag on anything.
Yeah.
And I've bashed those trailing arms a few times because I've got part of the lift kit or trailing arm spacers. There's like 4-inch drop brackets on those trailing arms, so they hang down kind of low. But now they can take pretty much any kind of hit I throw at them, and they'll just bounce right off.
Yeah. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
neat.
How did you
So-
cut that stuff?
That pipe was just left over at work, like scraps from landfill gas system
I meant the
installation.
sheet.
What about it?
The sheet. How did you cut the sheet to fit the skid plate? Just lay it down over it and like
Yeah, I
sawzall
took
or
the
did you router it? Or
no, I took the skid plate off, laid it on top, and just use a pocket knife. You just score it a few times and just like pop it.
oh,
and
it's
break
that
it.
easy to cut.
That easy,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, you could use a jigsaw, or you can cut it with anything, really. I mean, sawzall's kind of
Yeah.
overkill, be kind of rough, but yeah, no, it's super easy to cut. I'm constantly surprised how well it holds up with rocks. Like it'll gouge in some places, but if I hit a rock hard enough to put a hole in that, I'm like, what did I just break on this car? Like I almost get winded if I hit a rock that hard. It holds up
Yeah.
amazingly well for only being an 1/8 inch thick.
I actually used, and this is really overkill now that I'm thinking about it because of I'm hearing you used an 1/8 inch. So I used 1 inch UHMW stock, and I replaced the cutting edge on the back blade of my tractor so that I can use that to plow my driveway. And I've had that on there for 7 years now, and it looks
Nice.
pretty much the same that it did
Yeah.
7
I
years
mean,
ago.
for sure, UHMW would be a superior material for what I'm using it for. It's just this was so cheap. Like I just did this the first time was as a proof of concept, and I figured I'd upgrade to UHMW eventually, but it just works so well. I haven't seen a reason to replace it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably could have saved a couple bucks because it sounds like 1 inch was extraordinarily overkill.
Wasn't though? If it
Because
looks
that
brand
one,
new still.
that's true. That's true. I guess to buy it for life plastic, but that
Yeah.
was kind of expensive. I think I ended up buying like a 2 foot by maybe 2 foot by 48 inch or 2 foot by something. But yeah, I think it was like $150 or something for the sheet. But I mean, for what it's
Yeah.
used for and how, I guess that was a pretty decent trade-off.
You got my wheels spinning on this stuff now.
I know, I can see the gears are turning in Aaron's head.
Yeah.
Like I can lighten this turbo taco up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like what you were saying with the gas tanks, that's what I plan to do next is just put the same thing over my gas tanks. I mean, just for going through, I don't plan to hit that stuff with rocks, but just to reduce friction for going through mud. I mean, I got a video on my Instagram somewhere of going through this mud hole that doesn't exist anymore on this road called Shad Road near Hot Springs, North Carolina, where a whole bunch of folks had gone through there with like 35s and 37s and gotten stuck, and I just slide on through it because they don't get hung on anything. So just
That's
covering
awesome.
more parts of the car to keep the contact down and just to glide across things. Like I have a little piece across my rear diff also. And that's the only skid plate on it. There's no metal across the rear diff. It's just that little piece of 1/8 inch.
Yeah, I should do that for the back of my drive shaft, Aaron.
just wrap the whole drive shaft in it.
So this is a good lead into what I'm thinking of. You're saying they make this stuff in pipes,
They do.
like PVC pipe. I should be able to slot this and make holes for the supports for the slider and put a nice low friction plastic over the outer tube of my sliders with this stuff, right? Like I should be
Yep.
able to heat it, bend it around, pick out, and like cover the entire outside slider, and it probably holds on with a little bit of silicone, right? Like I could probably just glue it on.
You could. I mean, you can use hose clamps, dude. Like, yeah, you can do any of that. I've thought about it for mine, for sure.
So I've thought about this for like probably 10 or 15 years was the last time I was running jet boats on the river. And like jet boats and airboats are where this stuff's used a lot, especially like swamplands and stuff. So like, yeah. So like, it's been in the back of my mind that this stuff exists, but I didn't realize it was as cheap as what it is.
Yeah, I mean the low grade stuff is cheap. The better stuff.
Yeah, obviously. But like I've been using Pepsi signs, which is like Lexan, and if you point load that real hard, it shatters like a piece of glass. It just spider webs, you know. So like it's good if I don't put a lot of load on it, it'll slide over stuff. But like if I were to use it on the bottom of the skid, it would just be ripped off, you know. So I've been back in my head, like what can I use? How much is it? It's just a project. It's kind of like not going to happen anytime soon, but it gets thought about from time to time.
I mean, if money were no object, have you guys heard of Delrin?
Yeah.
By any chance? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two kinds of Delrin. There's acetyl homopolymer and acetyl copolymer. And the copolymer is the cheaper one, but the acetyl homopolymer is so hard that it's used for self-lubricating gears in industrial settings. Now that's like the super pricey one. If I were to really go crazy on it, you can get a 1/4 inch version of that, and you could point load as much as you want to on that thing with a piece of steel, and it would probably indent it a little bit, but you can just glide across anything with that. We're talking like $1,000 for my skid plate at that point.
Yeah. So we use the belt pulleys on the automatic car washes were all Delrin gears, pulleys and stuff. And the stuff they went through was pretty excessive loads, but it was self-lubricating, didn't corrode, like just a hunk of plastic there.
Yeah. Just super dense.
Plastic. Yeah, super dense.
I think some half decent body lifts are usually Delrin, at least claim.
I've heard that.
Floor Crawler is.
Yeah.
Floor Crawler does like custom body lifts for older Toyotas and stuff, but they do it for anything. I think they even had it for like Maxxis Sportage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So I guess one question I had, because the only other Subaru person that I can think of that I've off-roaded and overlanded with would be Aaron, and that's in the new Wilderness. But what is the Subaru off-road culture like? Is it your style, or is there kind of like Jeeps where there's like, duck people and then no?
Well, before I answer that question, are you familiar with the Moo Moo Subaru crowd?
I'm
No.
not.
So there were some folks. I'm not in this. I just think it's hilarious. It's basically little cows as opposed to little ducks, and they did it basically just to have a thing for Subarus that's like ducks. I'm not going to say I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I would never say that out loud. But if I ever saw a cow in my car, I would throw it away immediately. So like it's really split in half. There's a handful of folks who do more or less what I do. I mean, there's one guy down here, Jay Parkinson, who I would argue he's got a previous generation Forester, which I would argue is more capable than my car is. It's built pretty much the exact same way, but he has a Haltech ECU in there, and he has a turbo on that car with 29-inch tires. All the other mods are pretty much the same. A lot more ground clearance. It doesn't have the HDPE skids on there, but whatever. It's just rusty and falling apart, so I don't see him too much anymore. But I got a lot of my build tips from him. So there's like that side of it. And then pretty much almost every single person with a Subaru that's newer than like 2010, 11, they're not really doing the kind of trails they like to do just because the cars really can't do it. Besides, even if the CVT wasn't a thing, a lot of it comes down to that center differential. Like the center diff I have in my car is not the one that came stock. On the D-Guts trip, I blew up my center differential out there because that was it's called a multi-plate transfer. Like in an automatic transmission, you got your planetaries and there's those little friction drums that actuate the shift. And the MPT in a Subaru, and all the newer Subarus have this, is just one of those. So all the power goes through those friction diffs. And you can make the center diff just compress as much. It's not a diff, but you can make it compress as much as it can, but it'll still slip.
Yeah.
So the one that's in my car is called a VTD, variable torque distribution, and it's a double planetary gear set. So you can actually get it to lock up. So that actually lets me use my rear locker to its fullest potential. And they just don't swap into the newer Subarus. So that is the single biggest limitation in my opinion. Even though they do have X mode, they got the traction control that I don't have, but you can't carry momentum in them because you got to wait for the wheel to slip in order for that to engage. So a lot of folks are just, dirt road devils. That's the most that they're doing. So that's the other side of the Subaru culture, really. And hopefully no one from those is listening to this right now, but that's part of the reason why I don't wheel a Subaru people too much anymore. Because I'm not trying to do just dirt roads. I kind of want to do something like what you guys do. Like that's why I'm mostly wheeling with you guys when I wheel in groups. It's like 24 hours and then camo, and that's pretty much it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like the one guy I can think of. I think it's Mountain Roo, I think is what he goes by. It seems like he's out doing some pretty cool stuff. And there's a group. The group that frequents Bald Eagle State Forest, I can't remember who they are.
I mean, there are a handful of groups that do that kind of stuff.
They have a lot of newer stuff, and I've seen a couple of their videos, and like you can tell they are 100% about that life, but they're very much limited by like the car is not allowing it. Yeah,
and then also being newer cars,
a lot of revs and.
Yeah, parts are more expensive. Body damage is more expensive. Like, they're not getting axles for $40. They're still paying $400 for an axle. Like, I don't mind breaking some things. That's part of the reason I love this car so much. Like, a control arm is $20, brand new. A rear control arm is $20. It's not a big deal at all. I carry 3 of them in the car. Yeah.
I was gonna ask. So when you do like a major trip or go to Uwari or the 24 hours, what's a spare part loadout look like?
Spare harmonic balancer, spare alternator, sometimes 2 spare alternators, 1 spare front axle, 2 spare rear axles, fortunately, they're the same on both sides, so I can do that and not have to worry about carrying all 4 of them.
Nice.
2 spare tie rods, 2 spare rear control arms. Same thing, front and rear are specific, but they're the same side to side. Now it's 2 spare tires because I used to have 1 spare tire, and then I did the first Kentucky rally, and I had to drop out 7 hours in because I popped a tire. I'm like, we're not even at Fincastle Road yet. Like, I want to keep going, but I got to drive 6 hours home after this.
Right.
Yeah, spare radiator hoses, hose clamps, the normal stuff at that point. That's really it, though. Like, one of the cool things about how these engines are set up is all of the vulnerable stuff is up on top. Like, the alternator is top dead center, so it's not going to get covered in water. Like, the AC compressor is right next to it, power steering pump's right next to it. There's nothing really exposed in the bottom at all, besides the oil pan, but my skid covers that. That's really it, and all that fits in the spare tire well.
That's sweet. See, my GMC and my Frontier are like polar opposites with the alternator. The alternator on the GMC, like you said, you open the hood and there's the alternator. The Frontier, it's like practically under the oil filter on the passenger side. It's a terrible design. It's a terrible location. Which is why, like, people give me probably the same looks they give you. Like, why are you bringing alternators? It's like, well, because stuff can happen.
Yeah. Or we've had stuff happen.
So I was gonna ask. So did you have like an oh shit where you were like, I need alternators, and now you make sure you always have them?
Yeah, it was on the Kakalaki campaign trip that I hosted down here. We were driving through we were driving through Asheville, and I only had a hardwired radio in the car. We were driving around 240 right when we got into downtown Asheville, and my car just loses power completely. And I pull off on the side of the damn interstate, and Troy's in the radio like, I think Brandt's car just died. And it was right in front of the Patton Street exit, and they end up towing me up the side of the off-ramp to get me off the side of the interstate. The alternator was going bad. It ended up being a loose battery cable at that point, but it was kind of both problems. So I was like, I just got to go get a new alternator and go to a Subaru dealership and like drop the money on that and just deal with it. I don't even think I had a spare alternator at that point, but at the same time, it was like, never again, never dealing with this problem again. I can go to a junkyard and get one for $40. So I do that now. I just carry around a spare alternator. I got 2 other spare alternators on a shelf, just so I can like keep them in rotation.
Yeah, I'm the same way with the Frontier. I have 3. Whatever. I like. I don't bring 3, but I have acquired 3. I don't even really know how or why. Actually, I know that I had a spare purposefully, but I had actually put a Titan alternator in. But yeah, I bring them because it, like you said, it's one of those deals where if it dies, I'm dead in the water. So I may as well have as many of those dead in the water parts as I can. No, that's cool. My gears are just turning here because I did not realize that structurally and geometry wise the car was not heavily modified, because it doesn't look that way. It looks
same.
So now I'm almost thinking like, would you suggest to somebody who has access to one or maybe wants to get into the hobby and doesn't really know, like, it sounds like it's kind of a pretty viable platform.
It is, if you're willing to like learn how to left foot brake. Like, left foot braking is so critical with pushing this car, like modulating the front diff. Speaking of that, the line locker thing, I've decided not to do that for the front diff that you guys were talking about, because I found out that they came out with a Torsen LSD for this car. So
nice.
So I'll do that because that lines up that left foot braking pretty good, and that'll be a lot less stress on the engine, a lot less stress on the drivetrain. But yeah, I mean, again, it really all comes down to how easily repairable this thing is, how cheap it is to repair it, and you can carry all the parts with you. And as long as you armor it correctly, because if really those rock sliders change so much with wheeling this car. If I'm just willing to bounce off of rocks as hard as I want to on the side, or just rip around the corner on one of them, it changes what you can do completely. If you're worried about not hitting things, like the first time I went to UR, I didn't have rock sliders, and I was creeping around every tiny little rock, not wanting to bend my unibody. And then my buddy Jay is like, he was spotting me, is like, you need rock sliders. I'm like, okay. 2 weeks later, I went and had steel angle welded on the body, and go back to UR, and he's like, yeah, all right, now we're talking.
That's awesome.
I think that if a beginner gets hold of your car, they get out of it quickly because they don't understand the shock loading and the limitations of it. Like, I think it
Yeah.
would be a very good second car after you get the fundamentals of it and like break some stuff.
Yeah, a lot of folks do immediately go to a
It's
4Runner
some
after this
experience to
car.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like if I were to go on Facebook Marketplace, what's the what would I be looking for, year and ish mileage to not have to fully overhaul one?
I mean, it's kind of the problem with these things in terms of overhaul. Like, if they don't have the multi-layer steel head gaskets specifically from Subaru in them, you're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
The Felpro, like graphite coated cardboard head gaskets these things came with, sometimes they lasted 200,000 miles. A lot of times they didn't. Like, the engine that's in this car was one of the most notoriously head gasket blowy engines, the EJ253. Out of all the ones that had problems, it was one of the two big ones. But once you put those, specifically those Subaru, they're just the ones that offer the turbo car, same one. But the only ones that are the right spec are the ones from Subaru. Once you put those in there, that problem's gone.
Okay.
And really, anything from it's a 2006 to 2008 is the generation that I have. There's nothing wrong with the 2003 to 2005. It's still considered the SG, but it's the pre-facelift as opposed to the post-facelift. You know how they do like a mid-generation refresh in a lot of vehicles?
Yeah.
It's just one of those, and a lot of parts do switch over, but there's a handful of differences. Like the 05 has its own transmission, just specific to it. The air filter is in a different location on the pre-facelift SGs. More ideal location for some would argue, but mine has a variable valve timing in it for better fuel economy and power on the highway. So like it's the 06 to 08, I think is the best one. Some would argue the SF, the 2000 to 2002, or 99 to 2002. Some would argue that's the best one. A little lower on power, but it also comes with one of the only 4 EATs that had a 3.027 to 1 first gear, whereas mine has a 2.785 first gear. So if you can find that one, you get a little bit more crawl ratio. Like, shit, my crawl ratio I think is like 12.5 to 1. Whereas with this, not like hardly anything, but with this other one, the 3.027, I think you can get like 13.45 to 1, which is not a lot, but stock tire size on these
everything helps.
Exactly, yeah. Like stock tire size on these is 26 inches. I'm running 28s. If I had that other transmission, the car would think it's running 26s again. I get all that power back.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
What year span had the LL Bean editions? Did that follow through the whole generation?
I forgot
That was, I believe, 04 or 05 is where that started, and it ended in 2009.
Okay.
I forget what the story was with that. It's not worth it. Like, all you get is a weather radio that I removed anyway, and then you get
really?
Yeah, like I removed that, put my scan gauge in its place. And then, like, I love the color of my car, but that's the LL Bean color trim. You will not find body panels at salvage yards in that color. It's just not going to happen. Like, if I had a recommendation, it'd be fine. Like silver, the most common color out there. I'm not a huge fan of white, but it's very common. There's a weird blue that these cars came in. That's everywhere. Like if you're trying to get a trail beater and you're going to mess up your fenders, I'd go for a common color.
Okay.
That's a really good tip because there's data. Yeah, there's data on what models were painted, the numbers and whatever. And if you're going to go out and damage your crap, like buy one that has a lot of them in the junkyard. There's a ton of them made.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
I'm going through this right now with the Yukon because they did not make many XL Yukon 2500s in Victory Red for my year.
Oh, man.
And I need I would really like to find some new on shelf or really nice quality of the door trim because, it's 26 years old now. And there's cracks in it. Well, I've only found one piece of door trim, which is for the passenger side, which is what I need. But I'd like to do all of them. Well, that one single piece is $500.
Jesus, man.
So, I'm gonna pull it off, and I'm gonna fix it myself and just respray it. I actually have all the stuff to do it. I just haven't done it. But yes, that is an excellent tip. If you're getting into this, you're buying a used vehicle, or you just want a beater, but you want it to not look like, someone took a ball bat to it, get a common color. That's a great tip.
Yeah, like a fender for me is $45 at a salvage yard.
Man, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet. So the reason that I asked about the LL Bean edition, I used to work with this woman at UPS. Her name was Sue. Sue's a baller. Sue had worked at UPS for like I think like 45 or 50 years or something like that. But Sue drove a LL Bean Forester. Her husband drove a 458 Ferrari.
What a contrast.
She'd always just be like, I just work for the healthcare. They're the best. But yeah, man, I'd always crack up. Like, she goes home and parks that thing next to a 458. Yep. I love it. Yeah. So, one other question that I had about the mechanics of the car. What diffs are them? Is it R180 rear?
They're R160s.
R160s. Okay.
Yeah. You can swap an R180 in there from an STI. Like there's plenty of folks who have done that to get an air locker back in there.
So then,
but if you do that,
go
ahead.
Are they offset or are they centered diff? Like the stub?
They're centered. The problem with it is you either have to get new hubs because the axles are going to change at that point, or there is this very, very rare run. I forget exactly what it came on, either 2007 or 2008, like Legacy GT. They call them the unobtainium axles because it was just so rare to find them, but they will fit an R180 and the splines on the outer ends go into the stock hubs for my car. But it's just so rare that, like, if you're going to be snapping these things, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, right. Be a pain in the ass. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And with a rear locker and a center locker, like the rear axles are what snap the most, or those are the ones that break the most. So I'd rather just keep paying $40 for axles everywhere.
Yeah, unless you were doing some crazy power build, cheap axles. Let that be the weak point versus,
And if you're breaking axles, there's no need to upgrade the diff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Aaron knows a thing or two about axles breaking.
Yeah, it sounds like you shucked both of yours recently.
Very well.
Oh, here we go.
So, Aaron, since you have them, and this could just be a nice segue here, but can you explain to really me as well? 'Cause I don't even fully understand, how didn't they blow apart? What held them together?
Can I get a rag first?
Yes.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
And you got those nice the Shepa style, like the ball bearing and cage. Like my front axles are the Trident style that have like the 3 little prongs and the rollers on them that'll shuck a lot more easily.
Yeah. So this is the Track Motive Extended Travel shaft, and these are different from a normal CV that has the, what do they call them, tripoidal joints, where there's like the 3 roller bearings that are on the side. They come
that's what
apart.
I got in the front.
This has the same, up against the dip. Now the wheel side is going to be the same setup with the 6 balls. Track Motive did the same thing by putting it up at the diff, and I think this gives like 43, 47 degrees of like non-binding rotation, and by doing that, you lose your plunge. That was a big deal with the inner joint having those 3 bearings, is it could go in and out the cup. This is on maybe. Okay, so we're just going to talk about it. Was. So they've got this C-clipped or whatever on the splines, and then there's splines inside this shaft. So there's 2 of them, and then there's a spring. So the spring was pushing out on this and just keeping it in the cup.
No way.
And it was just riding on the rest of the cage that split. Actually, surprisingly,
that is a great design.
I still have all the balls.
No way.
They were still in the cup. Yeah. Where the hell are they at? They're sitting around there. They're covered in grease because I want to smash them really hard.
And mind you, this wasn't like a 40-mile drive. This was like 1,000.
This was the other time zone of Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and like 3 days before.
Yeah. That
Like-
is so impressive that they. Oh yeah, I'm gonna clip that last section there.
There was 1, 2. I
Yeah.
just ruined my shorts.
Oh, I'm gonna clip that again.
Yeah.
The cleaning motion that you did with that audio is perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
So is that your first time using those axles? Like, Track Motive makes that exact same axle design for the rear axles for my car, but those are notorious in the Subaru community for failing, like after less than 1,000 miles, so nobody uses them.
I hear people break these all the time, and the boots tear. The boots are harder for sure than like an OE axle. I don't know. Like I went 67,000 miles, I think.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the core support and tell you for sure.
I mean,
wonder,
also, like,
I wonder if it's an angle thing.
So that's where I was going. I think it's an angle and a shock loading thing.
yes, the shock loading thing for Subarus especially, because folks don't have throttle control for the most part.
Yeah. And they're struggling without the lowering transfer case. It's not giving you control.
I bet that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Like there's so much stuff breaking. Like when you're stalling a torque converter, people don't realize that you're getting more torque out of that converter than what the engine's making. There's torque multiplication. And it is not as controlled as a manual that has the rotational weight spinning of flywheel. So like if the wheel kicks out a rock, it's just going to spin up, where on a manual it doesn't. It'll keep spinning a similar RPM, and then when it lands, it's not hammering stuff. It doesn't have that spin up with all that additional torque and then hit. So I don't know. I mean, I'm on 33s. I've got my front axle center line pushed forward an inch. I've indexed the struts, so I've got more down travel. 7,000 miles on 33s, and like my driving, I did all right. First time I break them is I get in deep sand and start driving like an asshat. Like I can't be mad at them.
No.
There's a lot of lifetime warranties. They're like $100, $120 now. The only issue that I see a lot of that people complain about is there is on the I'm using this one because it's lighter, but the inside's the same way. And on the tripoidal joints, it's flatter here, and you get a pry bar in it. On these, they have a dust shield that goes on, and you can't, and you have to knock it off in order to be able to get a pry bar in there, and it pops right out. But I also saw today there's a travel limiter in the splines on those too, so they're their own slide hammer built in if they're together. So I'm able to just take the outer, tug on it, and it'll pull everything out.
Yeah,
no,
I had a pair. I had a pair of CVs that I thought had that because my last pair did. Boy, was I mistaken when I ripped that boot like a monkey. I was just like a sad kid with a melted chocolate bar holding the stub end of my CV.
My fronts are like that. Like, there's nothing holding it in but a little plastic clip.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like, oh, well, that became very expensive.
I think, speaking of expense, I think that would have been the suckiest part of these axles is like when I realized it and started shopping for them, like they're available. Whatever the town was south of us coming out that day, I think they could get up like Tuesday. What was that, Saturday?
Yeah,
Yeah, they could get them Tuesday, but they had the stock ones in, and I could have probably thrown them in, but they wanted as much for stock, well, part store stock style, as what these were on Rock Auto. So I was like really wanting to get home. If I would have ordered them in, it was like $300, probably $50 for both of them. And Rock Auto, I got them both here for $200.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little more than half. Like
it's hard.
I was
hard to beat.
I was motivated. Yeah. I don't think that's crazy for a used part that went almost 70,000 miles block.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's more than I got out of most of my axles.
Yeah. I don't even like saying this because I'm going to jinx myself, but I have not broke a CV yet on anything, actually. And I know it's coming.
Same until Michigan.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is like I try to keep my CV angle at static ride height as flat as possible, and yours are very flat as well, static.
Yes. I actually don't know that I'm more than like an inch of lip.
Yeah.
I have a lot of bump travel.
That is not the case for me.
It's split, probably 50-50.
What are you what do you, how much, if any, down travel do you retain?
So my down travel is actually still the stock down travel because I didn't, the suspension component's still the same. So in the rear, the contact point, like I think it's the bottom of the spindle will still contact the trailing arm in the same location. And then in the front, my lower control arm will contact the U-brace, which is part of the subframe, and it'll limit it that way. So my coilovers have an extra inch or so of possible droop that I'm just not using. But because of that, I don't stress out the CVs so much, and I just I could modify the car to get that down travel, but then I'd be braking axles more. And now for the fronts, they do make a adapter kit to use the Touareg or Porsche 930 axles that does have that Shepa bearing on the inside that you will get more down travel out of that, but like now I'm losing my $40 axles for I don't even know how much these things are to replace one of those. I just don't want to deal with that. Like,
A lot.
I get an extra inch of down travel, I can just drive better. I'd rather just do that.
Right. Exactly.
I think the locker eliminates the need. Like, so when I was open diffs, I was chasing articulation. Like that was the free mod to me, was like massage all the pieces to make it work right and like get as much articulation to keep a wheel on the ground. And then as soon as I got lockers, I was like, well, that was dumb. I could just like pick up a wheel and go. But the two things together work well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just like you, I gained all the up travel with these coilovers, but down travel is the same. But like that's the thing with Subarus is you really can only lift them without using a subframe kit. You can only lift them about 2 inches in the front, 2 inches, 2.5 in the rear before the CV axle angles start getting to where they either eat themselves or they start chewing through boots. So like my CV angles, I think they're at like 17 degrees or something like that at resting ride height. But that's the same as if it was only a 2-inch lift. I'm at a 4-inch lift, but I have that subframe drop. Drops the engine, drops the transmission, drops the rear diff. So the axles are the same, but the body is lifted up just a little bit relative. So I get a little bit more breakover angle, a little more approach and departure angle, a lot more possible compression though. And I utilize all that with the way I have my coilovers set up.
Yeah. No, that thing is it's a treat to watch. You'll have to send over a couple clips that we can play intermittently for anyone that watches this on YouTube or anywhere where there's video, because it's fun. So what's your next outing with it?
I mean, well, there's the Hinton rally coming up. If I go to that, I'd love to get up with you guys on one of these trips, but this year my vacation time's all busted because I'm doing a big vacation with my wife into Switzerland. We're going to be hiking the Tour de Mont Blanc. It's like a 100-mile loop around Mont Blanc, which is the White Mountain in France.
Wow.
So yeah, but I mean, I got some buddies who want to go out to Hot Springs, North Carolina later in the year, and there's a handful of roads out there by Irwin, Tennessee, if anyone's familiar with like Shad Road and Dix Creek and Bumpus Cove and Horse Creek. I'm name dropping these local roads no one wants me to say anything about.
That's okay. Only the real guys make it past an hour. all the casuals left in about 10 minutes. So.
And then there's this event I go to every year, All-Wheel Drive Fest, which is in Uwharrie. So I always love going to that one. I think I'm going to go again this year. That's in October. That's mostly Subarus and Honda Ridgelines and anything else that's all-wheel drive. Some Volvos show up. I love modified Volvos, man. I mean, I would never want to own one.
Dude.
I just love the way they look because the number of special tools you need to work on those things. I had a roomie who owned one, and everything's a hex or a Torx or a special tool or whatever.
Star.
Like, it was like it was an ordeal just getting to an oxygen sensor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, dude. Those things are they are, especially like an old Volvo wagon. I still to this day I love them. I love them. I think they're so cool. I want to put black tape and X's on the headlights and run yellow halogen bulbs. And I want to crash into the mailboxes of people I don't like. And I really like that car. And
there's a guy.
I was just going to say,
ahead.
real quick, because you had mentioned the Ridgeline, and this is super unpopular, but I love the Honda Ridgeline. Like
Same.
a lot. I really do.
They've got great gearing in them. They've got, like, if you put it in first gear, I think they almost have a low 20s to 1 crawl ratio. It's really good, apparently.
Yeah. No, I like the first gen substantially more than the new ones. The new ones are a little too minivan-y for me, but the OG Ridgeline, and I took part in Ridgeline bashing my whole comeuppance, but I like to think that I'm a more matured individual, and I think that they're pretty damn slick. I really like them.
I like them. I'm going to own one at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're like car trucks, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. They're like a front-wheel drive half-ton truck that will be all-wheel drive occasionally. It's got comfy suspension under it, a trunk in the bed. I think the back of the cab bed comes out, so like you've got like a 10-foot bed or something. The back seats down.
They connect.
Collapse and turn both ways. I want to say that was a 3.5 V6, same one they put in like the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Yep. Yeah. So imagine. Here's what I want to do with them. I'm fairly confident that with like a little bit of know-how, you could put a soft topper on one of those, right?
They make them.
Oh, I'm
Now,
sure.
imagine
specifically for it.
Imagine that folded into your cab, dude, for camping out of. That's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's still a Ridgeline, but it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guilty vehicle pleasure for me. I do like them. I had a very, very big change of heart when I realized that they're actually like not that lame.
And they got a lot of aftermarket support now. Like they make body lift kits for them, spatial lift kits for them, flat out suspension, makes coilovers for them. Like there's a lot out there now.
Yeah.
Honda is slowly working their way into the off-road and overland market. Like I think they just had a passport or a pilot in a rally like through Alaska that actually finished.
Yeah, dude.
Something.
Yeah. Yep.
Like they're going to break into this world we live in with something ridiculous in the next 10 years, and it's going to be like very competitive. I think
we should all commit to a all-wheel drive Gambler for 2027.
I will commit to a Gambler but not all-wheel drive, only because I've got the car ready.
Yeah, that's true. How about just a no transfer case Gambler?
No low range.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no low range Gambler.
No low. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Go get another Montero or what is it? What is the Murano that came in pots?
Or the Mountaineer.
Mountaineer, that's it, yeah.
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 That
you know what? That's a good example of what I was describing with the torque converter loading up and shooting rocks and stuff out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it's nice when you can realize the vehicle in front of you is automatic and doesn't have low range, and it like starts kicking rocks out. And you're like, oh, I'm in danger. And like you can just let them put distance between you all. Like, don't follow this person up a hill, like tailgating, like
I think you're about to need a win.
Give that one a little
space. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think I could talk about your Subaru all day, but I did want to get into the fail of the week, and I hope you'll stay for it. I don't know if I shared this or not, but my fail of the week is there's an individual who posted on one of the Tacoma pages that he was a very spirited driver, and he routinely was overheating his brakes. So this man went to Home Depot and bought himself some 4-inch corrugated pipe, like for downspouts, and mounted it under his tow hooks, so zip tied to his tow hooks. And then, I don't know if he zip tied or taped them to the back of the dust shields on the rotors.
Dude ducted his calipers.
No, he did not duck to the calipers. He ducked it to the front and was blowing air at the inner friction surface of the rotor, not even the center where it's going to have the vacuum and like blow air through it and cool it from the inside out, like actually work.
Yeah.
No, he just blew it on one side of the rotor. And then, you know, like where he put the duct on the front wasn't the worst case. Like, you're going to get airflow, except for he put like rain guards over top of it that looked like a cap. It looked like a cap to a hamster cage. Remember the tubes that came out? And they had the little. That's what it was. Like, it might have passed a few hairs or something, but like airflow, no. He did something else. He revised it. I saw like a day or so later. Yeah, I forget what he did.
Oh my!
But he made it better.
Better.
Yeah, I mean, at least cut your bumper up and put some shop vac attachments in the bumper as scoops, you know?
Yes.
So
I will say this: if you are warping or going through front brakes, it's because your rear brakes aren't working, guys. It's not because they're overheating. Like, go look back there. It's not your front. That's a simple.
Yeah. I'm going to tell on myself. I specifically used that vacuum attachment comment for a reason. So when I had my Focus, it was a third-gen Focus, there weren't a lot of intake options for it. And the factory intake was like a maze of garbage for sound deadening and this and that, right? So the only thing I could get was like a short ram air intake that it had a box, but basically a hot air intake unless you're at highway speeds, you know? So you know, the big triangles that are in the bottom of the bumper on the third gen Ford Focus, right? Below the fog light or by the fog light. Well, I found it ended up being a vacuum attachment, plastic, that was the exact same dimensions of that. And I molded it into that. And then I took a rubber elbow and I plumbed that right into the bottom of the airbox. And I ended up running a who made it? I want to say Steeda, but an engine pre-filter, like a hydrophobic pre-filter. And in all honesty, it actually really, really substantially lowered the IATs when you were moving. Didn't do shit when you were standing still. I'm sure probably for power confused the hell out of the MAF sensor because it was getting 70 mile an hour air. Ventrili effect ram jetted into the you know, but I was 17, so it's whatever. But yeah, I've done some dumb ducting myself.
Yeah, I've being around late models for those couple of years, race cars just in general, I've seen some interesting brake stuff, duct work, plumbing.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at what's coming out of Southern Ohio Forest Rally this past weekend, I have seen some Hyundais with those little, like, with ducting going to their front brakes. It's done. I don't know if it does much, but people do it. Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, if you do it right, it definitely works, you know, I mean, for sure. I think if you're in an overland scene and you're blowing your brakes off, like, you have other problems.
You got the problems.
Yeah,
you're too heavy and you don't gear down are probably the two big ones.
Yeah. And another point here is, like, you can have your brakes run too cold. Like, ceramic pads want heat. They grip better in heat, you know, so cooling them might not be the best idea either. You might want to, I don't know what the numbers are. Was it 600 degree rotor temperature? Maybe 8. They start gripping.
I found that with my car. Yeah. I was running ceramics for a while. I went back down to semi-metallics, and it's noticeable at lower speeds.
Yeah, I went to the full-on max brake dust pads for pretty much everything that I run because
you're running EBCs.
They work cold. No, actually, I'm running the Rebestus E3 pads on the Frontier, and I really, really like those. And the Yukon
get them again.
Yeah.
Rebestus went out.
I know, you're right. God,
what was it, like 4 or 6 companies that were like legacy companies in the world?
Yeah,
that's
like StopTech also.
Yeah, StopTech. Yep. Oh, that's terrible. I forgot about Rebestus going out. But those are fantastic brakes. And then the TTX brakes that I have on the Yukon, they are without a doubt the dustiest brake that I've ever ran. However, they stop that thing really, really well for as big as it is and as archaic as that brake system is. But they are very dirty.
Yeah, I think that the more dirty a pad is, the colder it likes to be. You know, like
Yeah.
ceramics don't make dust; they like to be hotter. I don't know if that's just my observable observation. It's right or wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think the more metallic, the colder they like to operate, the dustier they are, and vice versa. It's probably how that trends.
Can you still get organic pads? Like, weren't they the ones below semi-metallic?
Yeah, they were always
I
the
know for
lowest.
bikes you can.
I've never seen them, but
Do they
I keep hearing
exist
people
in-
talk about them. I'm sure they do, but those probably wear out super fast.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the draw is for that.
Your wheels look like shit, and you want to paint
Super
them
cheap.
black, but you don't want to paint them black. Yeah. Change your
Sort of.
brakes and wait 20,000 miles.
Oh my. Any before we sign off, anyone have any cool projects coming up?
I bought a Starlink Mini.
You did?
So yeah, I'll be able to mount that.
That's gonna be sweet.
Got a push trailer I got to pull up here.
Nice. Nothing like that. Just project I've been procrastinating. I've got my relay. You would cringe looking at the wiring of my engine bay right now. I've just got relays bolted wherever I can fit them. I've got a nice little relay box that I got to put like right on top of my battery, get everything all organized. But like everything works right now, and I really hate wiring, so I don't want to mess with it. I got a catch can I haven't installed because everything works. I don't want to mess with it. You know, it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I gotta buy too. Need a catch can. Forgot about that.
Yeah, put the little metal dish scrubby down in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I was gonna do like a cyclonic like separator. I think.
Does it get enough? Oh yeah, I guess it gets enough vacuum to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's getting some flow. Like I think it's better than going through some Scotch brake pad.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even run anything in mine, and it's just a straight up Amazon branded one. I don't even know if it has a brand. It's probably like.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get.
It's like $40.
That's what mine is.
And I don't even run the scrubby. Yeah, the only thing you gotta watch for is, for whatever reason, some of those. The first one that shipped to me, it has a little dipstick that threads out, and it didn't have an O-ring for that thing.
Oh.
So I was getting like vacuum leak. Like, what is going on? And I could hear it hissing. Like, what is this coming from? And I put my finger on it, and I ended up,
yeah,
threw a little O-ring on there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've had it forever, and I don't buy into the whole like a catch can will destroy your engine in the wintertime thing, because it's been forever and it hasn't done that. So
I never heard that. What's the deal with that theory?
Something about creating water vapor didn't make. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. I never really paid any mind to it, because everyone since forever of the PCV system has been running catch cans. So I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with a catch can. The only reason I'm running one is putting turbo on it. Like, I'm gonna have low body, I'm gonna have wide ring gaps.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have crankcase pressure, so I'd rather not throw all that stuff on my valves.
Yeah, and honestly, the only reason that I put one on my Frontier, which I never would have, the only reason I did is I knew I was going to have the truck forever. So at like 10,000 miles, I put one on. So I'm sure, and honestly, I would say every 5,000 miles, there's probably, I don't know, a fourth of a cup of material in there. And there's 200,000 miles on the truck right now. If you burn, if you burn that much volume, that's probably a lot of actual carbon sediment that would make its way in the motor.
Staving off that walnut blasting job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when I took my motor apart, it was hogged up pretty good. Like, the runners were definitely smaller, and like everything was covered. I thought that motor was still running pretty good at 278,000, but like it was definitely blowing a lot of oil out of it.
It was time.
It was probably down on compression. Like, it was giving. I thought it was giving up in Kentucky once. Like, I was like, oh no, is the head gasket going? Maybe. And then it was fine. I ignored it. 2 weeks later, I found out the head gasket was going.
Yeah, it was going.
It was going.
Oh, cool. Well, Aaron, you got anything?
I don't think I do.
Cool. Well, The only thing I have is the next trip is out, but I'm not talking about it on here. If you want to find out about it, it's posted in the Discord. The link to that is on our Facebook and everywhere else we are. And it's all in Pathfinder. The reason I'm going about it this way is because whenever I put it all on Facebook, all you people want to get involved, tell me where I can and can't go, and tell me I'm going to get arrested, and I don't even know you, and you're trying to get involved, and I'm tired of it. So this is how it's going to be. If you want to go, you can go, but it's also, I think, full already, because in one day, like 12 people said, I'm coming. So I got to figure something else out for that, because if we actually, it sounds like there's a lot of people that still want to go, and I don't know. I'm going to talk to everyone who I know for sure is going to go and see what their thoughts are on this becoming a mega trip where it looks like a paramilitary moving into New England. So,
I do have one thing.
Yeah.
Next photography trip is going to be Blackwater Falls, July 31st, August 1st, and 2nd.
Nice. Can I swim in that without being in an ecological disaster water?
Probably not, but I'll video it. But no, I am going to go to that, that down that road. Want to do Blackwater Falls, we can do pictures of the swing and go down to the falls. There's a whole bunch of like turnoffs and overlooks along that route. Go out towards Douglas Falls, hit Canyon Road, run that across the fire tower.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't really want to do Canaan Loop. I don't. Like, I could be talked into it if nobody's done it. Like, you can, but it's so tight. You're not getting good pictures there.
I mean, isn't it getting graded right now anyway?
It's just a annoying rock garden. Like, the trail has potential to be really, really nice. It's just, I don't even want to say in disrepair. It's just rocks, like big enough rocks that just make you do this, and it goes on an annoyingly long amount of time.
It's a lot better in independent suspension, man.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. You would think for as long as that loop has been there, that traffic would have kind of, I don't know, made an obstacle happen. But I think there's just so much rock that...
So much rock and water.
Yeah. I don't know. It is not one of my favorite places. And I think running it at night in that Mothman way faster than I needed to, because I didn't know where the heck I was position-wise, just like really turned me off from driving that road.
Yeah.
I'm like super anti human intervention in making the trails that are on like the public land, but like I feel like that's one where I would put like a small asterisk to like, can we just put the rippers down on a D6 and then let vehicles do whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe widen it 2 feet on either side.
100%. Yeah. It's just so overgrown. There's not any good scenery or anything. Like, it's just, like, I'm glad I did it once. No more.
Yeah, it was really fun to do in the snow on that first that snow camera trip that we did.
I can see that.
That was beautiful. Yes. But like you said, there's nothing to look at. But when you're looking at all the snow and the leaves and the trees around you, and like going through snow tunnels, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that was the most fun that I've ever had on that road. I've had the pleasure or displeasure. I think I'm up to like 7 or 8 loops up there. That's why my Frontier is mostly gray now. It's just a primer coming through.
How far away is that from you? It's fairly close, isn't it? Hour?
No, it's probably like 3 still.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Because I got to come east pretty far to get down there.
Only to the Maryland line. Like, that western border. Come down through Oakland, don't you?
Yeah, because it'd be... Yeah, it might be like 2.5, but it's not, I can't get there.
It's not as close as I was thinking.
Yeah, right.
Because I think you're like 3.5 from me. I wouldn't have thought that like Blackwater Falls would be the same as me.
Yeah. That'll be a fun trip though. Especially you're gonna go to the big swing.
The big swing.
Is it like isn't there like an overlook swing thing?
Almost Heaven, the West Virginia swing?
Yeah. Isn't that out there? Yeah.
So that's at Blackwater Falls. It's like right before you take the steps down to the falls.
Okay. Cool.
then yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna check that one off. Whoever wants pictures,
Yeah.
I'll set up a
Yeah.
tripod, whatever.
Any single overlanders that want to, put the rock on your lady's finger? Could be a good opportunity for you.
I'd like to know beforehand, but yes, don't surprise me.
Oh my. Well, Brandt, thank you so much for coming on. We've talked about you enough. I
Yeah,
thought
thanks
it
for
was
having me on.
probably appropriate that